Ah, Let's get in there. Chapter 54. It's not the same without you, honestly. Honestly, it's not the same without you. I won my first match, but it kind of sucked because Bill whined the whole time about the entwined souls pendant. I won the first match, but it kind of sucked. Bill whined the whole time about the entwined souls pendant. I wish we hadn't let him come back. Sandy's voice rang from the receiver, too quick to catch everything. Had he always talked so fast, or was Robin just slow? He felt like maybe they'd given him something, and he'd been too deep in the fog to remember it. Maybe he'd been too deep in the fog to remember it. Un momento. 1 second. Robin shook his head like a dog. The haze retreated. He needed to hear this. The calls from Sandy were all that kept him going. A win is a win, Robin managed. Did you rune-gate in Ureg's unit like after the volley like I suggested? Ha! You better believe it. Bill didn't know what hit him. Hurricane of blades rolled 6 crits. I can see it, Robin grinned. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. He's such a putz. Why is 456 here? I think he still feels bad over Blitz Day. That's on him. I don't care, Robin said. How'd the match with JC go? I messed up. I mixed up 2 phases of your plan and advanced Ureg's dervishes before the halberdiers were in place to give them cover. JC pounced with his warpounds and almost routed them. I wanted to concede on the spot. Ah, did you? Ha, no way. I still had your Hawkmoon detachment waiting in infiltrate. He couldn't take Ureg down, so he moved his main force into the canyon to finish him off. Boom. I revealed the Hawkmoon in infiltrate, turned the whole map into a shooting gallery. Shriek shots from the west, sear shots from the east. Yes! Robin could almost see the look on JC's face. Without the Riftmaster's warp aura, Chaos was super weak against range. He'd spent hours, super weak against ranged attacks. He'd spent hours working on the plan. Who'll stop the rain, Sandy sang. JC got shot to pieces. The Chaos Filth quit the field in disgrace. Team Randy advances to second place. Robin pumped his fists and ignored the twinge from his IV. Victory. Congratulations. Congratulations, Sandman. I knew you could do it. It's us, bud. This is all thanks to your master plan. We're in the grand final. The reformed Windsworn and the Heartbroken Brigade will stand against the Blacaw Horde in the battle for Blag Bor. Robin let it sink in. He'd worked so hard for this. When he shut his eyes, he was right there in the war room with everyone, putting their soldiers away at the end of another Saturday. How'd the dervishes handle the warpounds? Robin asked, realizing he'd gone silent. Not well. Red Draught and Ureg's lifesteal aura kept them going, but Ureg is just suicidal lately. He charged right into the black-handed one and almost got corrupted. Remember when Abaxios dispelled him and mind-fried the Riftmaster on the same roll? I thought JC's head would explode. Oh, that reminds me. Are you ready for some good news? RSI put out an official tournament ruling. Goblins are hugely overperforming. They put out revised stats. No way. How bad did they get hit? They got gutted. Effective immediately, Robin could hear Sandy's grin. I'll bet Vlad was real mature about it, Robin snickered. He literally almost cried. So snickered is, so I want something like crowed, but, he literally almost cried. No. He was bellowing and his eyes were wet. Vlad and Vil tried to convince us the club should break from the official rule set. Vlad and Bill tried to convince us all that the club should break from the official rule set. Everyone told them to cram it. It was so good. Duncan had to make Vlad go outside until he stopped shouting. He was all, "How can they do this to me?" Like he didn't know all along it was a huge cheese that could never last. RSI doesn't usually put out rulings like this mid-season either. I'll bet someone from the design team had to play against goblins and got jackhammered. Ha! Vlad didn't even play either game this week. He went home. He's still in first place, though, even with the forfeits. Not for long, Robin vowed. Oh, the showdown is coming. We made so much awesome terrain for the Battle of the Boar. You're going to love it. I can't wait to see it. I've got to get my hands on those changes. If they're significant enough, maybe we can beat him. He'd probably take a Chaos detachment. Did they change Warlocks? Vlad will probably take a Chaos detachment. Did they change Warlocks? Nope. Working as intended. They're still selling Slish models and Rift Demon packs as fast as they can crank them out. RSI is still selling Slish models and Rift Demon packs as fast as they can crank them out. There's some sad news for us, too. The rules now state only one legendary per army. Even with a Master Smith? Yup. Sucks for us. Charlie! Robin sucked air through his teeth as all his plans fell to pieces. Suddenly, he could see why Vlad had freaked out. It's all right, man. I never really expected us to beat Vlad anyway, Sandy admitted. What? Of course we're going to beat him. This is just a minor setback. If we can only have one legendary... Black Angel is probably the one to keep. I'll go through the revised rules. We're not out of this yet. Duncan says he's got another big surprise for the final battle. Whatever it is, I hope it eats goblins. Ha, probably. I still can't believe we made it this far. Honestly, I never really cared about winning. I just wanted to have the best-looking army. How about both? I can't wait to see you guys in Black Labyrinth. I wish I could be there. Well, maybe you can. We all talked about it. The club is okay with waiting until you're better to run the final battle of the campaign. Everyone is okay with waiting until you're better to run the final battle of the campaign. Vlad said, Vlad said he doesn't mind if it takes all summer so you can come back at your best, but you're still going to get creamed. Really? Vlad said that? Yeah, he can be decent sometimes. I bet he's just buying time, hoping they revert the goblin changes. He said he wrote a letter to the CEO of RSI to complain. Oh, wow. Who would have thought? What's going on, CJ? Should I stop asking you if they found your dog at this point? Or did they find the dog and you're just keeping it close to the pocket? Because, yeah, I'll stop if I'm doing more harm than good. But I am hoping that you found... Dog gone, can't find... Aw. Well, so I'm going to stop asking, but just know in my heart that I hope that you find your dog, and I'm very sad for you. Nobody deserves to lose a dog. Yeah, luckily there's lots of dogs in Albania, most on 2 legs, so you'll be fine. So just FYI, back in the day, getting creamed did not mean getting ejaculated on, usually. Unless you lived in San Francisco or were like a member of the Navy. Shout out to Castro Street. Mm-hmm. No, it is back in the day. This story is set in 1979. Really. Yeah, this is back in the day as you can get. He said he wrote a letter to the CEO of RSI to complain. I bet it was tear-stained and Cheeto-perfumed. Gay fanfic? No, there's no gay in this story at all. Even... Maybe Sandy. I don't know. Robin cracked up, laughed too hard, and started coughing. See, you write yourself into the reality. You know, this is why it's so dangerous to write around sickness. And I just need to write a story about me winning the lottery. Shirley Jackson's the lottery. Stop. I'll literally die, Robin warned. You won't actually, right? No such luck. The radiation is tough. The worst part is, there's a better way. They have a new treatment where they transplant bone marrow. Way better success rate. It has a way better success rate. Whoa, can you get it? Nope. The donor has to be a sibling who matches your leukocyte antigen. I'm out of luck. Dang. That's such a bummer. I'd gladly give you some of my siblings if I could. I bet I know which one you'd pick. Ha ha. Tell Yvonne I said good luck at the club. Tell her yourself. She's been trying to call you. She has to play JC again and wants your help to crush him with the Queen's Indian. Robin paused. He couldn't dodge her forever. He was more afraid of talking to Yvonne than the radiation. Can you tell her I'll try, but I might be too out of it to be on the phone? It's not going so well, Sandy. I think you guys shouldn't wait for me. Even in a best-case scenario, I'll probably be out for a long time. I might not be the same afterward. Pretty soon they have to zap my brain with a linear accelerator. They say I might not be able to think straight for a couple weeks afterward. That's terrifying, Sandy said, too seriously. We don't need too seriously. The line fell quiet. Robin had said too much. It's just until the spider powers manifest. Then I can web swing right out of here, Robin joked. He didn't get a laugh. I'm sorry, bud. Nimoto. No way around it. Can you get visitors at least? Just my grandma and the priest, Robin lied. They told him people could visit through the isolation glass, but he didn't want anyone to see him. The phone was infinitely better. But really, all the calls and stuff are helping so much. It's awesome that we can kind of play as a team. It's almost as good as being there. Of course, man. We're all rooting for you. My mom sent your grandma some rugula. The little raisin croissants? Those are so good. I hope my grandma didn't complain. She wasn't home, so we just, comma. Oh, is that a comma? She wasn't home, so we just dropped them off. I don't think you put a comma on so in that instance, so let's find out for sure. I do love that we can now just consult the machine spirit and just find like the actual rationale instead of me just winging it. Yeah, like my grammar has improved incredibly. Why the comma is required. You are using the coordinating conjunctions so to connect two independent clauses to complete thoughts that could stand as alone as their own sentences, so they do need a comma. All right. So my inkling was correct. Although they so seldom are. Ugh, I'm dying, CJ. Maybe 5 years left. She's, I'll ask. My mom wants to invite her to dinner. Do you think she would come? I'll ask, but she'll probably say no. She's, taking it pretty rough, I guess. Dang. Is there anything I can do? Yeah, actually. Are you going to see Duncan later? Yeah. Yep. The Bullets are playing the Supersonics, and we're going to barbecue. I'm bringing lamb skewers. I'm going to have a barbecue? You can use barbecue as a vowel, a stupid machine. In fact, I'm bringing lamb skewers. Oh, and then there's no period. How is that not called out? Like that there's no period. In what instance would you not need a period there? That rules. See if... Ask Dunk if he can give me a call. I have an idea for the campaign. Ooh, what is it? You'll see, Robin smiled. Okay, cool. So, kind of a heartbreaking little chapter. Like this little boy and his, I guess his best friend at this point, just having this telephone call, just geeking out about their hobby, and then finally like dancing around it and finally getting drawn into the real drama of the story. Yeah, the last 7 chapters might be super sad, but what isn't? Uh, let's see. Let's title this chapter "The Fog of War." Cool. Do 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 do. Yeah, I like so I have an ad running for this story, and just I am getting like no kind of traction on it there. I was thinking about it yesterday, and probably the story needs like a name change and a cover change, and um, it just kind of needs to be marketed from a different angle. Because I think the the fantasy wargaming stuff is kind of like a turnoff to people, and but that they would like it if they were drawn up into the story a little bit. Like fantasy readers are not fantasy wargaming readers, so I think I just need to lead harder into the fantasy. In fact, let me edit the. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Let's just call it fantasy. Fantasy plus cozy plus tragedy. Oh, Co's fan tragedy. I like it. Yeah, maybe the name will help a little bit. And so then let's go to Scrub Stack, create an article. Boom, the fog of war. God, I'd love to not be sick, but wouldn't we all? So, yeah, I think this just works. And then we can go back to chapter 53. Edit this guy. So one of the things I'm seeing to get any kind of traction on Substack, you really need to have an image for each one of these things here. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to like AI generate them or something like that, but yeah, like everything really needs to have an image with it to get any kind of traction. And honestly, it should just be like auto generating something, because the way that they appear is just like a block of text, and nobody's clicking on it unless you have that. So that's one of the things I've learned about this. But I learned it too late in the workflow to make that change. I'll go back and do it the other way. But yeah, it really hurt like my organic conversions. All right, this is a long fantasy chapter. Mm-hmm. In the hour before dawn, they woke from blessed sleep and prepared for war. Burback had a remarkable feeling, one he'd never had before a battle. Somehow, he'd risen above all his sorrows. All the hurts remained, but nothing could touch him. At long last, he was truly at peace. Every one of those is like a comma splice. I'm the luckiest dwarf alive, he realized. Cinnabonathi only smiled, because they're, like, oh, like I can give you the context if you need it. They readied their weapons. It would not be long. Ready to fight a god? Just one? Bring them all, Burback hefted his axe. There was no sound better than her laughter. Cinnabonathi is an awful name? Oh, yeah. It's just wretched. Can you imagine if, so the best part about this, in a dream world scenario where this story gains some kind of traction and becomes popular, you ensure that at least one retarded Midwesterner will name her child Cinnabonathi. And that is worth everything to me. Just one idiot just going with it, like just making her the Daenerys or the Katniss or whatever of today. So just always include something stupid. I could just... Wait, would you name the child something that's stupid? God, I got like a few people who are asking me that, CJ. I'm just not, like, the thing is, I can't pay any kind of child support whatsoever, right? You would be completely on your own, and I'm okay with that, but I'm not sure that the courts will be as okay with that. I just want babies. Don't you have 3? Jeez. Yeah, you have a child that is like under 5 at the moment there, one at a time. Albanian child support. All right. I'll put it on my agenda. The gay agenda. He needs a friend. Yeah, I guess your 2 kids are like growing up and leaving the house and stuff. And that's got to have like a big impact on you. So I don't know what it feels like. Oh, I can't have this charging while I'm doing this. That's not an option. I will think about it, but I think so many people would be so mad at me about it. And honestly, can't you do it like a little better at this point? Like somebody who will like love you and marry you and raise the child, and like outcomes for a child with 2 parents are so much better. You just need to find somebody that like fits with your kind of crazy, and like then the 2 of you can have a baby together and then hate each other after 3 years and like split up. I don't want a man. No, we'll never be happy without a man. I mean, keep in mind, my theory is that women are fundamentally incapable of being happy, right? But they certainly are fundamentally incapable of being happy without a man. I don't know any single women on their own, or any gay women for that fact, who are sincerely happy to the level that even somebody in like a mediocre marriage is. It's just not there. It's all about perspective. I only know so many people. I might be wrong and stuff, but yeah, you don't want to like milk this out and just decide like you're never going to have a man or whatever. Here is one. You do seem to be doing pretty well on your own. I'm glad to see it there. I'm going to ride my motorcycle to get a burger later. That's my game plan for the day. I also had promised that I would like walk my dog into the village and get him ice cream, but I think all their power is out, so like I have to get him ice soup. And then that the ice cream is all going to be refrozen. I think I would take the big dog in because he likes people. And when the little dog is around, she gets all like defensive, like, nyah, 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 nyah. And then he gets defensive. But when he's on his own, the big dog is like walking up to people and like, hey, what's going on? I'm a dog. What if you were to pet me? So he still can't deal with other dogs because I didn't cut his dick off. But yeah, he would like to meet more people. It'd be cool. Maybe I'll take him to a dog beach. That would be like a hell of a drive, though. It'd be fun. But then, like, I can't post any pictures of the... Next one should be a children's book about dogs. I don't really understand children enough to write a book for them. Like, the stuff that babies like just makes no sense to me. Yeah, it's weird. Dawn stole over the east, and the Tizpir peaks turned molten. There was tension in the sky, at odds with the great calm Burback felt within. Osloon had warned them that the worm would likely come from the north. I don't think worm is capital in this story. Drake is capital, worm is just like a whatever for there. They took a high perch on a spire of stone and watched the horde muster in the valley below. He wondered if the strange peace came from the artifact. King Hermione had gifted them a relic of the first Rune King, the Talisman of Insignificance. The ancient amulet was of meteoric nickel. The ancient amulet was forged from meteoric nickel and engraved with rings of ever-diminishing runes around a seven-pointed star sapphire. Hermione believed it could let them remain unseen. Hermione believed it might allow Burback and Cinnabonathi to remain unseen long enough to strike the first blow. It was old magic. But the Rune King warned he was not certain if it would work against such a powerful foe. I'm trying to edit this here, and then my brain is like completely short-circuited by give me a child. And I'm like, oh, how would I make that work out? Like, is that a good idea or whatever? Like, Jesus. And I know you're just doing it to torment me. God, women. You guys are the worst. Yeah, oh yeah. I see right through that nonsense. I just love babies. Well, I'll try and find some I can sell you. It's not that far from Albania to Romania. We'll be Slav neighbors. Slavers, they call them. Hermione believed it might allow Burback and Cinnabonathi to remain unseen, long enough to strike the first blow. It was old magic, but the Rune King warned he was not certain if it would work against such a powerful foe. I've had like a few different women reach out to me and just be like, hey, if both of us aren't married in 2 years, let's baby. And like, it is just like ridiculous how much of a like how much of like an ego trip that is, but at the same time like how crazy that is and how much it like impacts you. Like even somebody where do it and then give me the baby. No, just you gotta understand, like it really just is not good to grow up fatherless, right? Take it from yours truly. It's like a half of your experience that's missing right there, and nothing can really fill in the gap. And no shade to you for the way that you're doing it and so forth. I'm sure that you're doing the best you can, but I don't think I want to put anybody into the world where they're going to come up with like that experience there. There are almost no good. I mean, I'm not helping the situation there. Yeah. Yeah, like no, but I would agree. I don't think the direction that we're heading in is a great one. And like definitely the people who came before me were capable of like sacrifices and stuff. Better to be with a good mom alone than with a good mom and a bad dad. Well, I would agree with that 100%. But I mean, just the trick is to find a dad that is like mediocre enough that he's not just going to cheat on you. Because like a great dad is just going to cheat on you constantly, and then you're going to like cut off his cock and slash his tires and all that stuff. That's just how it is. So somebody who's great can't be held down unless you have like really like a lot of feminine power or whatever. And then like if he was able to be controlled by you, probably wouldn't be that great there. So it's like it's a built-in sort of paradox to our species there. Had enough to get into my house, but not into my life. you know? And like part of that is just like, I know I'm not a good fit there, you know? And like, it would just be a disaster for both of us there. Um, but like ultimately, there is somebody out there that's like a much better fit for you. I just feel like the way that you're going about it may may cause some problemos. Like I just don't think you can find men on IRC. They're also damaged and childish, and you know none of them work for a living or whatever. You just need like a manual laborer, but then you got to not bother that guy when he comes home from like slinging hash all day or you know beating up the Irish or whatever it is he does. That's why you should just give me your baby. I'll be the nanny. I don't know, man. I think if I had a baby, they would be in training right now to assassinate the leaders of the New World Order, going through like baby ninja training and crawling under barbed wire and such. But you know, the other part of it is like I do not have enough time left to raise a child, really and truly. And you know, it really does a number on a kid when they're like 8, like old enough to realize like, hey, people vanish and stuff like that, and you're just gone like that. And then the other person's like left with nothing to do, and it's not like I have a fortune to leave somebody where they're going to be okay. So yeah, it's just there do not need to be more of me than there are presently. One is enough. One is too much. The Rune King warned them he was not certain if it would work against such a powerful foe, especially with a dwarf so close at hand. Burback never put much stock in trinkets anyway. He could not wait to fight another Drake. The shadow approached and their breaths stopped. There was Sai. The red lament was gargantuan, 3 times the size of Eravitramor. As the crimson silhouette flew over, their necks prickled with primordial dread. There was an ancestral memory hammered deep into every living being. The red one meant death. A shiver ran through Cinnabanathi. How glorious this will be, Burback said. He squeezed her gauntlet in his. Trusting the talisman, the heroes took wing. The red lament flew ahead and circled the valley. Screams rippled through the goblin encampments, and panic spread in all directions. Some tribes ran for the hills, some ran for the river, and they trampled each other in the glare of dawn. Abandoned, the monsters of the great menagerie broke free from their chains and rampaged through the madness. At the southern mouth of the vale, Sai swooped low over the bone road that wove down from Wintermoor Wall. Kind of want to call it Bony Road. Here, let's find a better name for this road. Boner Road. I could call it Boner Road. I think this originally had another name. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, this is too much like Breakback Mountain. Mm-hmm. Oh, let's just call it Marrow Road. Take me down to that old Marrow Road. The old Marrow Road. Sigh swooped low over the old Marrow Road that roved down from Wintermoor Wall. Well, I like it. Get some rhyming and stuff in there. It was better the first way. That's always the case. The old Marrow Road that wove down from Wintermoor Wall. The narrow switchback path was packed with a caravan of plundered supplies. Sigh swooped low and blew a crimson plume over the wagon train. The guards managed to loose a volley at the drake, but their shots fell short. As the useless arrows fell to the ground, the archers were already there, gasping and thrashing. Everything the red dust touched ceased to be. The few goblins who managed to flee only spread the red death. Unbothered, Sigh flew west to the Tinnier Gap. The passage to the west was packed with stragglers. A tribe of Jagasher goblins scrambled forward after an all-night march, desperate to arrive before the battle began. They were just in time to meet the Red Lament. Red breath turned the canyon into a bloody graveyard. Crimson breath turned the canyon into a bloody graveyard. Burback saw the drake's aim, to bottle the Blackcaw horde into the Valley of Six Mists. Now there was no escape. Far below, Blackaba... We should use his full title. Blackaba Ba assembled his sorcerers and shamans into a ring and led them in a 1,000-voice prayer to the great Leerer. All over the valley, the panicked goblins stopped in their tracks and lent their voices to the wail. All the fears, dreams, and mad energy of the horde channeled into an unholy howl that shook the valley. Horde is not there. It rang on and on until the last voice gave out. The answer was a profound silence. The green god dared not face the red lament. The prayer turned into a pandemonium of shrieking terror. 2 sentences in a row. Yeah. I think that's a good edit. Cool. Look at this. You made your way into the finished book. Believe it. Well, now you gotta buy a copy and tell everybody you helped contribute. I never heard from your buddy, by the way. All and all and all and all and all. It goes on and on and on and on and on. On and on and on. Yeah, I told you the guy would not come through, by the way. He did take a gander to, like, pick out that one thing, but, yeah, it's not happening. The prayer turned into a pandemonium of shrieking terror. Let me ping him. Nah, don't keep bothering this dude. Although we are almost done with the edit. So when I'm done with the edit, I can actually provide a revised edition of this. Wait, I think... Hold on. Let me go off camera. I'll see if this is shared directly with him or if I send him something else. No, only one person is has this document shared with him at this point. I'll make a new version or whatever that has, like, all the edits and stuff in it. And I'll go through and try to fix some of, like, the numbering across over the valley. There we go. Son of Anathi shadowed the drake, careful to stay out of his sight. Bobbert wanted them to wait until... Bobbert wanted them to wait until Sai fought the Blackcaw, then attack him when his energy was spent. But Sai never took the field. He flew high... I think this has to be a... But Sai never took the field. It feels weird to have, like, that short-ass but there. Don't start sentences with but. Let's take a look at what the machine has to say about this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you start a sentence with a coordinating conjunction like but or and, you shouldn't place a comma immediately after it. Okay, cool. So that should not be there. Let me see. Well, I mean, the alternative here, so we need like a however or something like that. Let me see. Let's read it both ways. Bobbert wanted them to wait until Cy felt, but Cy never took the field. Cy never took the field. All right, yeah. Honestly, we can just remove but there. Yeah. Look at you trying to remove but from your life. That's the first. All right, let me see. He flew high over the panicked horde, far away from their archers and warlocks. Cy flew... He loomed high over the panicked horde, far away from their archers and warlocks. Cy flew 3 great circuits around the goblins, each tighter than the last. With each pass, the Blackclaw fled closer to the banks of the Viridian River. At last, the red lament turned tail and flew away. "We've been betrayed," Burback groaned. The amulet in the wind made his voice seem tiny and distant. Cinnabonathi beat her black wings and lifted them higher, back to the sky iris. The worm was gone. Then they saw a red sheen upon the lake. A great shadow surged beneath the surface, and the water turned blood red in its wake. Oh no, not the goblins. It says goblins? where does it say goblins? It does say goblins. Oh god. Yeah, this chapter. What's up with this? The goblins. I actually would like to just change it from goblins to gobbins. All throughout the book, just to make it more racist. And then, like whatever race people assume the goblins are, you're just like, oh, it's funny that you think that that's them. It's not meant to be, but it says a lot about you. Oh. Then they saw a red sheen upon the lake. A great shadow surged beneath the surface, and the water turned blood red in its wake. Graceful in the water as on the wing, Cy swam around the moat in a sinuous rush. At an incredible speed, he rammed into the southern edge of the lake with all of his weight. Thunder shook the veil. No, Cinnabonathi gasped. Burback could not believe it. No dwarf would have ever dreamed of cracking the sky iris. The southern edge was a wide stretch of banded granite and basalt that had contained the lake for time untold. It would take 1,000 years to dig through. But to a world drake, all of creation only waited to be undone. Cy rammed the edge again. No, there I do want a but or something like that. Starting a paragraph with but is even worse. All right, that's fine. Let's just take it out. I can tell it's a good edit because I'm infuriated. Yeah, like good editing is supposed to hurt, like some other things. Oh, look at you racing through the things. I'm not looking for points. I'm channeling my AP English teachers. I got kicked out of AP English. by the way. Yeah, I had never heard the, maybe if I hadn't gotten kicked out of AP English so quickly, I would have learned not to start sentences with but. It makes sense. Yeah, just in terms of, yeah, that seems like a reasonable rule to me. Mm-hmm. And get my hand slapped with a ruler, but I'll slap yours. It's nothing compared to the pain I feel inside. The impact was even greater. Burback could feel it in every bone. Below, the blue water had turned into a deep vermilion. Opaque vermilion. Alright, there we go. Below, the blue water had turned into an opaque vermilion. Sai took a final loop around the moat with all his strength. The swell built into a tall wave. The final note shook Burback and Cinnabinathi as if they'd been hammered against an anvil. Sai burst from the churning water and took wing. The deed was done. With a roar like nothing since the world was forged, the sky iris split open and wept for Sparfadil. The lake lay 3 leagues wide and 1,000 fathoms deep. You know, pressure. Okay, the lake was 3 leagues wide and countless fathoms deep. Pressure parted the granite like drapes and tore off the south face of Blag Mountain. It's a valid term, but earlier in the book, we say that no chain could plumb its depths or some kind of whatever. Keep in mind, like the fantasy part is supposed to be hokey. It's like intentionally supposed to be ham-fisted. Like, thank God. People use it a lot to describe like an unlimited depth. I know. You know, we don't need how deep it is. There. The lake was 3 leagues wide. Pressure parted the granite like drapes and tore off the south face of Black Mountain. A titanic avalanche of bloody water and broken stones swept down the river. Herded onto the banks like sheep, the bulk of the Black Claw horde was caught in the torrent and annihilated. The roar of the shattered mountain rolled on and on. The red lament flew over Sparfadil and reveled in the devastation. The Valley of Six Mists was a bloody lake where corpses bobbed above the treetops. Everything the flood touched glistened with crimson poison. The heroes fought to stay aloft, battered by cyclonic winds. Sparfadil was lost, but Sai was not finished. He flew back to the moat and landed. With a sweep of his tail, he shattered the sacred... Oh my god. With a sweep of his tail, he shattered the sacred spruce. The ring of sacred spruce. Blood-red claw prints befouled the shrine of the ancients. The red lament spread his wings and roared in triumph. Now, come you winged worm. You cannot hide, I can smell you. Look upon what I have wrought. It is only the beginning. Fight me if you dare. Ooh, I wonder if they will dare. The drake's long neck twisted as he scanned the sky with his blood-red eyes. Directly overhead, Cinnabanathe set her lance and doved. She aimed for the dragon's horrid head, but Sai surged forward and snapped his teeth with a jarring clack that nearly stunned them. I don't like surged forward there. Cooing? Wait, where does it say cooing? Coing. It's a good word. We should make coing. You know, like, you could have a laundromat that's coing operated where you pay with coitus. Mm-hmm. And cats are faster than snakes. Yeah, but cat-like quickness? Yeah, like cat-like is not good. Serpentine sounds cool. Mm-hmm. There we go. I think this is a little improvement. Directly overhead, Cinnabanathe set her lance and dove. She aimed for the dragon's horned head, but Sai heard them coming. Sai's head... Mm-hmm. The drake heard them coming. Sai's head darted with serpentine quickness. She swooped low and banked up. Burback pawed at the straps and flew 3. He sailed almost 30 paces before he thumped against the great drake's neck. Cinnabanathi diverted. She was a stone's throw away, but the impact still dazed her. She swooped low and banked up. Burback pawed at the straps and flew free. He sailed almost 30 paces, and flew free as she rose. He sailed almost 30 paces before he thumped against the drake's neck and dug in with his axe. Sai craned his horned head to see what had struck him. I don't think we need another head. Yeah, let's stay horned, I guess. I think we said horned a couple of times. Sai craned his horned head to see what had struck him, but just then Cinnabanathi struck. With all her might, she drove her lance into the underside of Sai's jaw. Let's see. Yeah, that is indeed you get a, this is so tiring. Let me see. Actually 6, because you got another edit that we missed back there. Okay. But just then, Cinnabanathi dove. Well, really, she struck us better there. Yeah. Ooh, I don't like what had hit him. Sai craned his horned head to see what had hit him, but just then... Sai craned his horned head to see what hit him. Yeah, you do need the had. Sai craned his horned head to see what had hit him, but just then Cinnabanathi struck. With all her might, she drove the lance into the underside of Sai's jaw. To a lesser drake, the blow might have been fatal. Sai's impervious scales turned the lance and... He whipped his head to bite the impudent angel in 2. Fearless, Cinnabanathi flew through Sai's beard of spines and hovered right between his all-red eyes. She was dwarfed like a dragonfly before a crocodile. She flashed forward with the lance, but a diamond membrane blinked over Sai's eye and stopped the point. And blocked her strike. Yeah, I mean, that's everything that we're doing here is better at least, right? Because we're, I'm punching above my weight here. This book is better than I can write, I think. And that's the whole point of like doing all this editing and so forth. Just trying to get a little better every time. I'm better now than I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And just the clock keeps going. Fearless Cinnabonathi flew through Sai's beard of spine. Mm-hmm. What? Well, I just need more people than just you and about 15 people on IRC to believe and to tell their amigos and get this book out there. Mm-hmm. The red eyes are mentioned like 40 times. He's red, by the way. Yeah, I think we need. Yeah, let's call him Blood Red here. Cinnabonathi flew through Spy's beard of spines and hovered right between his blood-red eyes. She was dwarfed like a dragonfly before a crocodile. I like that actually. It's like Tinkerbell is fighting with the what's the name of Captain Hook's crocodile? Come on, you have 2 kids, 3 kids. You should know this. I should know this actually. Mm-hmm. The name of Captain Hook's crocodile is Tick-Tock the crocodile. He earned this nickname because he swallowed an alarm clock, which produces a distinctive ticking sound and serves as an ominous warning for Captain Hook whenever the crocodile approaches. Tick-Tock relentlessly pursues Hook after Peter fed him Hook's severed hand, as the crocodile developed a taste for the pirate and desired to eat the rest of him. Wow. Amazing. Like, how does the clock stay wound, though? That's what I want to know. Oh, you said it before you looked it up? Wow. Let me see. Is that timing correct? Yep. You actually knew. She flashed forward with the lance. But a diamond membrane blinked over Sai's eye and blocked her strike. Sai cracked a wicked grin as Cinnabonathi pirouetted and fled. I like the use of pirouetted there. Eager as a hound, Sai... Yeah, and I like that we call her a sprite there. Eager as a hound, he beat his wings and chased the sprite. The hunt began. As Sai flew in pursuit, Burback clung to his massive neck. He dug in his axe like a mountaineer and clawed his way up. The talisman was spent, but it did not matter. To the Red Lament, the berserker was less than a grain of dust. Burback buried his unbreakable axe to the helve, but it merely scratched the crimson scales. Red dust burned in his lungs like hot embers, but he climbed on at a crazed pace. He had to stop the monster before it could reach Cinnabonathi. He on-climbed? Do those need to be 2 sentences? Which... The hunt began. Clung to his massive neck. If we do it this way, it has to be this. The talisman spent, but it did not matter. Yeah, that's actually a little better with the semicolon there. These are 2 independent clauses that are related by the but it did not matter there. The talisman was spent, but it did not matter. To the Red Lament, the berserker was less than a grain of dust. Okay. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I'm really low on mana today for whatever reason. Maybe I need to eat something. Alright, but I'll give you 1 for that. There we go. Yeah, it's been sick for a while. It's killing me. This always happens to me for like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm just high on English teacher energy. Burback buried his unbreakable axe. Yeah, let's avoid the 2 repetitions of acts. Yeah, I do hope I feel. And just every once in a while, man, I'll get knocked out for like 1 or 2 weeks, and seems to be no rhyme or reason for it. At some point, I'll have to actually go to a doctor, but I'm afraid of what they'll say. Why run, little one? Sigh thundered. The drake's voice boomed with mirth as he pursued the swift-winged angel. For all his size, Sai was fully in his element, a master against a novice. No matter how she strived, I'm waiting to see one in Europe. F America, I'm hearing you. Yeah. But you know what is really awful to me is how like veterinarians have all been bought by like BlackRock and venture capital and so forth, and then prices have just skyrocketed for like taking care of a dog. I think for those 2 dogs, just the like their vaccines and stuff like that came to almost 2 grand, and like all the standard like fecal tests and then the heartworm medication is like $600 a year for each one of those dogs, like the preventative care and so forth. They're like number 2 in suicides after dentists. Good, right? I remember when vets used to be cool and they were like kind-hearted people and whatever, and now it really just it's like used car salesman when you go in there. And I just need to find one that isn't part of a giant conglomerate. But then you're going like a long way. They don't make any money. Yeah, man. Like, yeah, it's such a racket, and it's just like healthcare, where it's like so obvious that somebody at the top needs to like hop in and be like, hey, this is insane. We cannot let insurers like get this whole thing. And now you have like pet insurance, right? Like what it would be like $60 or $75 a month. Drowning in student debt after 8 years in vet school? Why does it take 8 years for veterinarian school? That's a 2-year degree, man. Dogs are not that complicated. God. Yeah, and like all of them get into it because they want to help animals. And then, like, oh, you know how you're like kind hearted and love animals? Why don't you watch them die over and over and over again? Like, oh, they have to learn about all the animals. I honestly like, um, yeah, maybe veterinarian is too general or whatever. Anyhow, yeah, and you gotta like put them down and so forth. That's a terrible job. I don't know. Um, yeah, it's not a good setup. We should just give them like one freebie murder per year. Murder of a human, by the way. I don't want them touching dogs. Anyhow, no matter how Cinnabonathi strived, Sai was always just behind her. His long crimson neck flashed forward and his jaws snapped, ever closer to the Black Angel. It was clear he only toyed with her. Burback tore forward with all his might, pushing against the wrenching feeling in his guts. It was a long way up. You'll live longer if you talk. Why did Abaxios send you to distract me? Sai demanded. His voice echoed back from the mountaintops. Why is black capitalized? Black Angel is capitalized because it's a unit. Just the same way we would capitalize Berserker or whatever. It's part of the, but that's also... God, you're like snapping up so many of these here. Let me see. There we go. Ah. Why did Abaxios send you to distract me? Sai demanded. His voice echoed back from the mountaintops. When Cinnabonathi did not answer, Sai drew a deep breath and blew a spray of red death in her direction. Cinnabonathi pinned her wings and dove beneath the gout, just as the drake intended. He threw back his great wings and beat with all his might. The wind flung Cinnabonathi into a wild spiral. She would have crashed into the sky iris, but the waterline had dropped 50 paces. She beat her black wings and recovered, a moment before she struck the poisoned water. Sai blew another gout over the lake and cut off escape. There was only one way out, through the roaring rift. Cinnabanathi shot over the surface and darted through. The drake was waiting on the other side. Sai snatched her up in his claw and guffawed in triumph. He climbed to the edge of the sky iris with his prize, while the mountainside buckled under his bulk. "Now, answer me," Sai demanded. Cinnabanathi tried to dart free, but Sai pinned her against his palm with the tip of a crimson talon. She thrashed with her lance, but it could barely scratch his skin. He brought her close to his face so he could hear her tiny voice. Answer me carefully, false angel. What is Abaxios' design? Why did he sacrifice you? He pressed down. Sai pressed down with his talon, and Cinnabonathi's ebon breastplate shrieked. With the tiniest twitch of his finger, the red lament could cut her in two. I don't think you need to name him again after like 2 sentences. Let's try it both ways. She thrashed with her lance, but it could barely scratch the skin. Sai brought her close to his face so he could hear her tiny voice. He brought her close to his face. It's there so that we don't have he brought her close to his face so he could hear her. So we break that up a little bit. Yeah. Cinnabanathi tried to dart free, but the drake pinned her against his palm with the tip of a crimson talon. Oh, so that's not too bad. Yeah. Alright, so that fixes it, yeah. And then I do like having Sai there. Okay, cool. Alright, let's give you a point there. I think that is an improvement. See, if Logic wasn't so drunk, he could be snapping up all these points. Apparently he's quit with the drinking. Thank God. I quit too, honestly. Just does nothing for me at this point. But you're so like, oh, I want to relax, and then like have a beer, and next thing you know, you're just wasting your life. Once in a paragraph is enough to name it. I agree. Like most of the namings are for clarity, but at the same time, like you can use it to break up like a cascade of pronouns, right? Sai pressed down with his talon, and Cinnabonathi's ebon breastplate shrieked. With the tiniest twitch of his finger, the red lament could cut her in two. To buy time, Cinnabonathi wheezed. No, wheeze is to... Yes, obviously. But why? What could Osloon possibly do against me? Look upon me, elf. I am supreme. I was your tyrant before time began. The onus to serve me is written in every mode of your being. No, onus is too much. Now, comma. This mountain is mine, and everything the river touches will die. In one stroke, comma, I destroy the Blakaw and the empire of men. Osloon is no fool. He knew this would happen and still set me free. Why? Yeah, I liked onus. We use onus as one of the mechanics in the game. The onus to serve me, and so the reader knows what onus is. They've looked it up by this point. Let's try both ways. I was your tyrant before time began. The need to serve. Oh yeah, no, you're right. No, it prevented us from making a terrible mistake that nobody will ever notice. It's not a burden. It's a compulsion. So onus is here like serving it. Yeah, we want compulsion. This is why we swapped that to need, because I thought it was simpler. Yeah, this works. Now this mountain is mine, and everything the river touches will die. A disagreeable necessity. There we go. That's what we want. The necessity to serve me. Oh, well, that rhymes, actually. Yeah, but too much. Cinnabonathi stiffened. Worried he'd done too much, Sai lifted his talon. Faster than he could blink, Cinnabonathi sprang forward and hurled her lance with all her might. It was a ruse. There we go. The ruse should be at the beginning. Hey, what's up, Forge Blitz? I'm just talking with my baby mama from another mama with ample drama. What up, CJ? Let's see. I can't remember. Forge Blitz was the one that had like the cricket channel, right? So this is a Hindu dude from looks like Martha Pradesh or something like that. Some kind of Pradesh. But I might be thinking of the wrong person. Cinnabonathi stiffened. Worried he'd done too much, Sai lifted his talon. It was a ruse. It's just a lot of these. Honestly, like I really should have done more prep work to get people excited for this and interested. There used to be like a live editing on Twitch, Discord or whatever, but it completely died. Hold on. Yeah. In one stroke, I'm telling you, CJ, I knew like you were one of the smarter people in LRH, but you never use it for your benefit. Yeah, Himachal Pradesh. That's right. It was a ruse. Faster than he could blink, Cinnabonathi sprang forward and hurled her lance with what we do so many all her mights thing. The point sunk deep into Sai's left eye. The crystal membrane cracked down, too late. Oh, damn, who's calling me? Why is it giving me stats for a chapter? How was it performed? Engagement 000. Paid sub 0. Top traffic sources. So 2 people viewed the chapter by email. So some people actually did that. It's wild. Oh, what's up, CJ? I mean, we're going to end the stream in like 2 days, by the way. Like, I've gone through 2 chapters today. Should get some of your homies to donate to my leukemia charity, by the way. That's not like a legit charity. I can't touch the money. Cinnabonathi stiffened. Worried he'd done too much, Sai lifted his talon. It was a ruse. Faster than he could blink, Cinnabonathi sprang forward and hurled her lance. The point sunk deep into Sai's left eye. The crystal membrane cracked down, too late. The black lance ripped a deep gouge into the red jelly. Wide with surprise, Sai's other eye was blinded by a flash of cerulean. Cinnabonathi drew Faflets. Faflets is in italic. That's the name of a sword. Faflets. Yeah, the elf names in this are awful. Like, I really am trying to Tolkien it up or something. I think Faflets translates to something in Latin. And smote Sai's other eye. Well, if we've said his... The drake's scream rang on for leagues. As Sai thrashed, Burback clung tight in a froth of cold sweat. He reached the thick disk of tympanic membrane that covered the drake's ear hole. With his drake... With his unbreakable axe, Burback hacked his way through and burst into Sai's head. Inside, all was... Why is this getting gayer? I need more info. Like, I don't see any phalluses at all. How can it be gay? Hacked his way through and burst into Sai's head. Inside, all was blood. His vision doubled. Yeah. Burback's vision doubled. His lungs burned. His lungs burned, and cramps ran through him in waves. Same care, same paragraph. When will you learn? No, so, like, the thing is, we need to differentiate between a Sai thrash, Burback clung and tight in a froth of sweat. He reached the thick distance with his unbreakable axe. Burback. So we need to name him, but we don't need to name him so many times. Yeah. I think we can just do he there. You're right. With his unbreakable axe, he hacked his way through and burst into Sai's head. Inside, all was blood. You had 3 and 1? Yeah, let me give you a point. Yeah. That's hard, man. This is stuff regularly that I make my editor do. Because at this point in the story, I'm, like, exhausted. But yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me. I had to take off Monday for being sick. So I may just be pushing it too hard, because I had to work a lot yesterday. Inside, all was blood. Burback was blinded. His lungs burned and cramps ran through his limbs in debilitating waves. He could not breathe and his limbs spasmed, because he's essentially like, the Drake is like pure poison, and he's like trying to barrel inside of it or whatever. The Black Rage offered an escape. Alright, so Black Rage is a game term. So isn't these italics? Burback let it have him. New strength surged into his limbs. Great shocks knocked the berserker about as Sai beat at the sides of his head with his fists. Great shocks knocked the berserker about as Sai beat at the sides of his own head with his claws. Like a wolverine, Burback burrowed deep into the world drake's brains. He tore with his axe, his jagged armor, and even his teeth. The world whirled as the great drake spun and thrashed. With one final convulsion, Sai went rigid and tumbled over the edge. He fell in... tumbled over the rim. He fell into the sky iris in a column of red froth. It was the end of the Red Lament. The sun climbed over a realm forever changed. I actually don't want to use Wolverine here. I want like some kind of unstoppable force that is not a juggernaut. You could just say unstoppable. Unstoppable. Yeah. No, earlier, yeah. Wait, what is no earlier? Yeah. Unstoppable. Burback burrowed deep into the world. Yeah, I do want like I do like the like frenzy of like a Wolverine. You know, sometimes just like you know, just clawing his way forward. Oh, I like this. Mad as a badger. I like that one. Mad as a badger. Burback. Yeah, because, you know, like badgers don't fuck around. Oh, damn it. I almost made it through. It's $1 for the leukemia charity. I guess I have no discipline. $43. I'm glad I did not make it $5 per curse, because I would be. No, it's $43. Wait, were we already at 43? I'm gonna make it 44 because I can't remember. $44. Mm-hmm. Mad as a badger, Burback burrowed deep into the world drake's brains. He tore with his axe, his jagged armor, even his teeth. The world whirled as the great drake spun and thrashed. With a final convulsion, Sai went rigid and tumbled over the ridge, over the rim. He fell into... I like ridge better. He fell into the sky iris in a column of red froth. It was the end of the Red Lament. The sun climbed over a realm forever changed. The first of the world drakes was slain. The sky iris turned to blood, and the Viridian River would run red forevermore. Nothing it touched could survive. On trembling winds, Cinnabanathi landed on the ruined altar and wept. Burback Breakbow was gone. He died a glorious death. Gangsta. Alright, I'm going to try to do one more chapter, even though I have, like, nothing left in me. Let me take a look at what kind of chapter it is. If it's real long, we might pause. But honestly, I want this book to be done. So, chapter 55. Alright. So, right. And then dashboard. New chapter. Yeah, there we go. We'll title this chapter All Red. So I think this is how many named characters have died so far? I think just Burback, really. Like, I guess Gunag Dorson died earlier. Lieutenant Cinderman died. Blokey died. Alright, so a bunch of dwarves and one fanatic. Oh, and Marrow died. Yeah. Why are you against Burback, who is always going bareback, right? You're like, this is a dwarf who's really punching above his weight. You know, he bags like the key elf in the story. He makes the high priest piss himself. Oh, you know what I wanted to name this actually was In the Red. But no, it's all red is fine. I'm gonna stop putting subscribe buttons here because like it's worthless at this point. And then let's go back to this chapter. There we go. I can't believe there's so many chapters of this. We really did so much work in this dumb story, and it is just getting no traction whatsoever. It's just like Riker. He only bangs one person in this entire story, so Riker the Piker. All right, update. Yeah, man. Like, I just got to get this out to more people. I got to find a better angle to... I honestly think, like, the title probably needs to change. And, like, I think I need to actually get a decent, what would you call it? A decent cover for it. This one's all right, you know, but... A .gif file? Oh, God. Why did they have to make a GIF format? GIFF. Was it like an image that has like built-in tracking information or something? Oof. I don't like it. What about it has to do with Robins? So I guess you're just reading like the fantasy section. If you haven't read any of these, so all the fantasy stuff that's going on is happening in the mind of the protagonist of the story, who is like a 13-year-old boy with cancer. His name is Robin. And the story is about how his grandmother takes care of him, how he's going through leukemia treatment, and how he imagines this like fantasy world to distract his attention away from like the chemotherapy that he's going through. So, like it's about the name of the main character there, but yeah, it's not compelling people to read it in the way that I want. If you want women to read it, name it after their kids. Which kids? Like whose kids? Carter. Oh no. I don't see. I don't think that white women are really going to enjoy the story en masse. Like you write this to like try and loop in like some tiny percentage of women who are deep into fantasy. Oh yeah, we gotta edit this chapter. Braden, yeah, Chance. What other white boy names are there? Oliver. Ugh. Sell it at Starbucks. Most of this was written at Starbucks actually, because they're the only people that are open at 5 a.m. Yeah, I named all my children after plants and animals and stuff. It was easy that way. I don't want to play, Robin said into the receiver. Robin spoke into the receiver. It stank of Sidex. Father Jonas noted from the other side of the visiting window. He put the pieces... I also, like, if you're going to hang around for the rest of the edit here, I want you to, like, notice, like, how much better the human chapters are over, like, the fantasy chapters. I'm really proud of some of these chapters. And they're very tight. Like, a lot of the like, confused writing and stuff is not here, because we're not having to do the big actions. We can do everything with little beats. I don't want to play, Robin spoke into the receiver. It stank of Sidex. Father Jonas noted from the other side of the visiting window. He put the pieces away and folded the board back up. Is it the pain? Yes. I can't think straight. They have me on this drug that makes me slow and stupid. I asked them to stop, but they won't. It's best to listen to the doctors, Robin. It's not working and they know it. I'm dying. I just want to stop the treatment and be at peace. Father Jonas began to say something. Robin watched the clerical collar bob as it caught in his throat. The priest stopped and tried again. Things can still change. I don't even feel like myself. I feel dumb and helpless. I hate it. Robin turned his head away. He didn't want to cry. He didn't want to cry in front of a priest. I have seen so many good men die, Father Jonas said. Who he takes, who he leaves. So when he's talking about God, and then we have to capitalize this. Who he takes, who he leaves. I can't understand the reason. I can only be grateful I am here at all. That's easy for you to say, Robin snapped. No, it is not. Think before you speak to me, child. I had cancer twice. My father died when I was 10. My mother died when I was 15. I had to raise 2 brothers only to lose both in the war. Everyone I ever loved in my life is gone. Now I am alone. I wake with pain every day. Father Jonas held up a hand. His joints were swollen with arthritis. I'm still grateful for the gift of life. I still serve. You are not wrong to feel the way you do. Just young. Perspective only comes with time. Robin was silent and angry. No one had spoken to him this way since his mother died. I have sat with other boys your age who were sick. Some wept. Some played brave. All were afraid. Those who believe go in peace. Please, listen. In the quiet moments when you are alone, listen. Close your eyes and listen for him. When you let go of your anger, he will speak. Everything will be easier. I'd like it if you would leave, please, Robin said quietly. He tried to hang the phone up, but it slipped from his hand and clattered to the floor. Father Jonas's voice squeaked from the speaker. With a sigh, Robin reeled it up. May I ask a favor from you before I go? Jonas asked. I can't do anything for anyone. I'm going to ask anyway, for the sake of your abuela who loves you with every ounce of her strength. She and I are both praying for you to improve. But if that doesn't happen soon, please take the last rites. For her sake, if not your own. You want me to lie? I don't believe. You know I don't. I am asking you to say some words for her. Your grandmother will still be here when you are gone. She will live on, either thinking you win at peace, or that you renounce the Savior who she truly believes died for you. But I don't. It's not true. No Savior would do this to me. No God would take my mother. No God would leave my grandmother all alone. I didn't do anything to deserve this. If you're right, you lose nothing but a little bit of pride. If you're wrong, you will have a long, long time to regret it. It's called Pascal's wager. He was a player, too. He said, chess is the gymnasium of the mind. Right now, you are in the arena of the soul. You either make a child's choice for yourself that helps nothing but your own stubbornness, or you make a man's decision to say a few words and ease your grandmother's pain. Then why don't you be the one who lies? Tell her I took them. Why don't you be the one who lies? Tell her I took them. I will, if I have to. It will be better if neither of us lied. Christ lived. He died for your sins. You only have to accept him and repent. I want my mother. I want to be with my friends. I want to live. I want to grow up. I want the same chances you had. If I could, I would give you every moment I have left, Father Jonas said. We don't get to do that. He decides. If you want to live, you have to fight. You have to believe with all of your being that you can become well. Christ can help. Let him into your heart if that is his will. No, let him into your heart. No, 2 sentences. If it is his will, you will be healed. We can't possibly see his reasons. We are finite. He is everything, always, forever. I will pray for you. Please, think of Una. Robin hung up the phone and turned away. He wanted to scream, but a nurse would come. Other patients were trying to sleep. He shut his eyes and rocked back and forth and sobbed. There was no voice, nothing at all. He turned back and the priest was gone. Oof! Damn. Brutal chapter. Yeah, this is I really wonder how like readers are gonna feel about this one here. Because religion has not played a huge role here. And Father Jonas is like kind of like a nice figure throughout the story, but here in this chapter, you get to see what he really wants, right? It's like important to him to that Robin like takes the last rites and all this, and uh, yeah, that is a brutal chapter. And so part of what this book is supposed to be about is about how demanding people who are well are on people who are sick. Um, mm-hmm. Ooh, I like that we worked in. It's a little clunky the way that we work in Pascal's wager, but it is worthwhile. And he was a chess player, so yeah, that is brutal. And I'm not liking that one. Like I like how the chapter went, but made my eyes tear up. Ooh, well, watch on. Yeah, man, I really put my soul into this one, and it is killing me that like it might not do anything. And the other part is like, I want to buy my mom a house. Like that is really like I just want to have the money where I can buy um or something fancy for when I'm gone. Uh-huh. Let's see. So there I feel like the ending of this piece is very strong. And I might be able to get to it here. You like we really want to like earn the whole these moments like with the sick child and the like the grandmother and everything like that. We really have built these characters up with like a foundation of hopes and dreams and desires and so forth, so that they have a platform to bear the weight of this narrative. They should have like a good foundation for all this. Well, now I want to see what happens with the rest of the story here. Ooh, although I'm also at the same time like a little leery to get there. Oh, 57. I'm not sure. All right, let's stop here. So this is like he finally gets a letter from his friend Emilio. Now let's just go through it. Yo, Eagle. Sorry this letter took so long to get to you. It came back from Amarillo as undeliverable. I had to call the school to find out where you were. Okay, so this is written by. Well, you can pee during this chapter. Just go where you're standing. No, this is going to take a little bit to edit through. So this chapter is written in Spanish, and it's supposed to be from his friend Emilio, who Robin has been pining for like the longest time. Yo, Eagle. Sorry this letter took so long to get to you. It came back from Amarillo as undeliverable. I had to call the school to find out where you were, and that's where I heard about your mom. Man, I'm so sorry. I know how it hurts. It never gets better, but it gets easier, if that makes sense. They told me you're sick with cancer. That's such terrible luck, one thing after another. If you need anything, or if there's anything I can send you, just say the word and I'll help however I can. I don't know if you've heard, but Maximo got arrested. They sent him back to Mexico, and they sent me back to Mexico. I'm in Cabo now with my aunt, Alejandrina. She owns a cafe called Copa de Nada near the beach. I've been to that cafe, by the way. I wash dishes, and I'm learning to cook, kinda. A bunch of tourists come in all the time, and I have to talk English to them. She's really strict, and I have to go to church, but the food is good. I don't know when they'll let me come back. When you get better, you have to come visit me. There's a lot of pretty girls here. Even better, maybe we can go to Mexico City and catch a match at Azteca Stadium. Let's tick out even better. Our boys are looking good this year. Azul, Azul. I hope your grandmother is well, and by the time you get this, you're feeling much better. You were always tough. I know you'll be back on your feet in no time. Yours truly, Emilio. Well, okay, this stays in. I wanted closure on the Emilio thread. That's a very easy chapter to do. And I think this is just a chapter so that can round out to to whatever. These are the kind of letters that so Emilio and Robin are like 13-year-old boys, and like that is similar to like letters back then that boys and some boys and girls would like write each other letters back in the day, because it's like he can't call, right? Because he doesn't know the number or whatever. Um, and yeah, like I wrote letters back in the day, and I believe that it was like a little bit more common then. I like that he's like, "Que onda, aguia, aguila, aguila." So we'll have the translation at the beginning. But I like this letter actually. I had a lot of pen pals. Yeah, man. I remember getting letters from people that I went to summer camp with, and um, I think I once had a pen pal who was like a girl in Pakistan, and um, this is before we found IRC chat. Don't start that Texas part. All right, so the Spanish here, I really need a Spanish speaker. ¿Qué onda, Aguía? Perdóname que tarde, carnal, que mandé la carta a Amarillo y la regresión tú que tú crees. Oh yeah, I can't read through this here. No sé si ya sabes, pero arrestaron a Máximo y a mí me mandaron de regreso a México. That's wild. All right, let's get this. So I worried that I was going to have to take this out, but it's so short, and it really does clear up the thread a little bit. So I think it's worthwhile to be a chapter here. I like where it sits in the story. So I was worried about that one. So chapter 57, a letter from Emilio, and then we'll create another article. Tu cuate, your pal. So most of the people reading your book will be white, non-Mexican speaking. It depends, really. I may have to like market more towards people who are English as a second language or Spanish or whatever. I really worked hard. The meaning between so the translation he comes across like very white, right? But in it's like the that movie Y tu madre también. So I watched that movie and I'm like, these guys are dorks, right? Like, Meep Sheba is getting in your brain. But like you watch that movie and these guys are like complete dorks. And then I had a friend who's fluent in Spanish watch it with me. And he was like, actually the guys are kind of cool in the story. Like some of what they're saying is funny and so forth. And translation just makes everybody corny. You know what I mean? It's wild there. So I might look through and try to make the translation like a little bit more. Let's go back to Pascal's wager and then edit. Yeah, it's a shame that Logic and Agatha are not here, because really they would love to be seeing some of this stuff. But they're not here. Scan for AI text. Pangram is checking this content for AI generated text. Fully human written. Analysis by Pangram suggested this text was written. I didn't realize that I could do this with all these chapters. I didn't do this with the other ones there. No, Logic is not as racist as he comes across, right? Both Logic and Angie have significant portions of racism in them, but would like stop on the side of the road to like help a black person change a tire or whatever. Really and truly, they would. giving not all men vibes. And people are more complicated than the like Sloth, who was completely racist, like would join the Klan if it was an option, right? Has black friends, you know. It's just the thing is like the people who you think are racist, they're not villains. They're just unable to like rise above the weird tribal behavior that's built into us. Oh my God, chapter 58. Hold on, let me ping all these people. If we're gonna get into like chapter 58, 59, and 60. All right, I just pinged the people here because like these are the climax chapters. That makes them a villain. Being racist makes them a villain. I don't know, maybe. You know, like it definitely gives them character aspects that are negative that they could work on and so forth. But people don't want to change either. You know, it's a lot to ask. But also, I don't care about race right now. I care about this story and chapter 58. There's only 20 pages of this left at it. We're going to get through this. I have something special for you, Una said. Robin raised his head, intrigued. He had his cap on. It was the big day. Underneath the bill, his eyes were haunted and red. Una was glad he couldn't see himself. What is it? Robin's voice was small and coarse. Just you wait. It's coming, Una dangled. Robin waited. She could see he was impatient. It wasn't long until the final. Together, they listened to the last two games of the Primera Division on the radio. It was the one thing he could still do. Sunday was round 6. Cruz Azul faced Deportivo Toluca. Yeah, dangled is the word that I want, right? Because she's like holding out a carrot to like get him to pay attention. She's not teasing him either, right? So I would look for a verb that is somewhere between teased and dangled. But I'll get along with dangled. Yeah, she's like holding a piece of meat out for a dog or something. Yeah, think about it. I'll take a suggestion if there's a word that fits better. But I'm okay with it as is. Sunday was round 6. Cruz Azul faced Deportivo Toluca. Earlier that year, Toluca had crushed his boys 3-1. This time, Azul paid them back with the game's only goal and advanced to the final. It was the first time Una had seen Robin smile that week. I tease is too much, right? Because like he's a sick child right now, you know, and so she would not tease him at all. I need something gentler than tease that doesn't have the notion. We don't dangle things for men. We could just say Una promised, right? All right, yeah, I think Dangle kind of stops the show there. Yeah, she's not coaxing, by the way. She's just like telling him like, "Hey, wait a second, this is going to happen." I think there is some truth to the notion that dangled stops the reader there, and so I think just promise is fine. So I'm going to give you a point for it. I'm going to give you a point, not 2 points. The next game was a terse draw against Pumas de Unam, 0-0. This time it was winner take all. The final would be winner take all. A maintenance man in a brown uniform knocked and entered. Eddie was embroidered over his breast pocket. Robin, so... Oh, really? Why would you do that? Yeah, I really got to block them on Twitch. A maintenance man in a brown uniform knocked and entered. Eddie was embroidered over his breast pocket. Robin watched him closely, wondering what was up. Eddie walked over, opened the window, and leaned out. What's going on? Robin craned his head to see. Una had to help him sit up. A coaxial cable dangled down to the window. Eddie snagged it and pulled it inside. A smiling hospice nurse wheeled in a television on a cart. Eddie hooked up the set and spent a little time finding SIN, the Spanish International Network. So this Spanish International Network was what Telemundo was before it was Telemundo. I don't know if you remember. But way back in the day. No way, Robin breathed. We get to watch the final? Oh, so I don't know why I put final in capital here, but it's wrong. Telemundo. Live on satellite, Una smiled. It had taken a lot of asking to get this to happen. Apparently, this ward wasn't wired right. They had to string a cable across the roof. Engineering. Oh, I wonder, did they call it engineering back in the day, or was it like facilities? Engineering had to string a cable across the roof. They positioned the cart at the foot of the bed so Robin could see better. I thought about facilities, but all right, let's actually ask here, because this is like an anachronism point. I don't really know. Mm-hmm. Known as maintenance or plant operations, plant ops. Hospital electricians. So in the 70s, modern IT or AV departments didn't exist as standalone entities. So biomedical engineering, maintenance. Yeah. I can never spell maintenance, by the way. Maintenance had to string a cable across the roof. Yeah, I think maintenance is the way to go. I think engineering is too much of a latter day thing there. They do not call people that carry cables engineering. Well, no. Like, it's somebody has to do it. Like, now, today, you would call it like an engineering department for a building. Even though they are not engineers and so forth, because the term has been diluted. You know, you have software engineers, for Christ's sakes. But like, I think just maintenance fixes this problem. They positioned the cart at the foot of the bed so Robin could see better. All good? Eddie asked. Yes, thank you, Robin rasped. Enjoy. Eddie waved as he left. Una could see his smile crumble as he stepped out, but Robin's eyes were locked on the screen. The Primera Division logo sprang up and the announcers began to chatter. This is so cool. Thank you, Una. I can't believe it. It had been a long time since Una had watched television. There were so many commercials now. Silently, she prayed for Robin's team. He needed a win so badly. As they played, Robin pointed out the players and named each one. His favorite was, and these are the real players, his favorite was Horacio Lopez Salgado, a left-winger from Taxco. Tazaco. I think it's Tazaco. Puma almost scored, but it was saved by Cruz Azul's Argentine goalie, Miguel Marin. Robin sat straight up and leaned forward to watch. She worried. Tazaco? Or is it Taxco? I think I have no... Tazco. I have no idea how you pronounce this. Uno. Una worried he was getting too excited, but said nothing. It was the most alert he'd been in days. To his credit, Father Jonas hadn't even tried to lie to her about the last rites. Robin was angry, and why shouldn't he be? She prayed he had time to see the light. Carlos Jara Saguier, a Cruz Azul midfielder from Paraguay, snatched a header and drilled it right into the Pumas' net. Tasco? Okay. Go! Robin howled along with the announcer. Una glanced at the door. Normally, a nurse would come in and scold them. No one did. Let him yell, she resolved. These games were his whole life. Robin smiled now and cried out in joy again when Horacio Salgado scored the second goal. Robin was sat up straight, all nerves. Robin straightened up in bed, all nerves. Anything could happen in a game. As the minutes ticked down, he relaxed more and drifted back against the bed. Una watched him struggle to keep his eyes open. Before the game was over, he was asleep. Cruz Azul was up 2-0 with a minute left. The seventh star was theirs. Una got up and clicked off the TV. Oh, why did she click off the TV? Yeah, I don't like that. She'd had to pay to rent the TV set, but it was worth every penny. She'd had to pay to rent the television set, but it was worth every penny. There was nothing like the smile of a little boy whose team had just won the championship. Even now, he seemed more at peace. No, okay, so let's fix this. We just needed a word. The clock ran out and they won. The seventh star was theirs. Una got up and clicked off the TV. She'd had to pay to rent the set, but it was worth every penny. There was nothing like the smile of a little boy whose team had just won the championship. He fell asleep before the game was over. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is a good note. He fell asleep as Cruz Azul was up 2-0 with a minute left. The clock ran out and they won. The seventh star was theirs. Let me give you a point before I forget. And let's read through this one more time. As the minutes ticked down, he relaxed more and drifted back against the bed. Una watched him struggle to keep his eyes open. Robin fell asleep as Cruz Azul was up 2-0 with a minute left. The clock ran out and they won. The seventh star was theirs. Una got up and clicked off the TV. She'd had to pay to rent the set, but it was worth every penny. There was nothing like the smile of a little boy whose team had just won the championship. Even now, he seemed more at peace than he had in a long time. Una realized she was alone. The hospice nurse rushed in. The game was over. No, we want more games? Well, good luck. There's one more game at the end of the story. Just FYI. We don't end on that point. But I will end the edit on that point because I think I have to go to a meeting at 8:30. Ugh. Friggin' parole. Yeah, I like this a lot. It was a good ending to that thread. Although sadly, like at this point in the story, everybody has guessed that this is going to happen. Like I asked uh, Logic and Agatha if they thought they had any chance. Lies, parole never happens. Well, where am I, CJ? Where in the world is Load Radio? But it is. I mean, it's obviously a lie. But but what isn't? It's my whole job. Wait, let's scan this one for AI text. Oh, we already scanned this one for AI text. Hold on, let me try chapter 58. Edit. We go to update. I want to scan this chapter for AI text. Fully human written. All right. I don't know if Pangram is any good or not, but it's a good feeling. I'm happy I finally got to contribute. Yeah, 13 edits. Very solid. So I'll try to do the last two chapters. It sucks to, like, I wish I had, like, the full squad here for this, but glad somebody could share this with me. Thank you for tuning in. And, yeah, I love this ending right here. Yeah, let's just update this. Very happy with how that thread ends. It took me a long time to work out all of this stuff. So, chapter 59. We can get through this in a bit. It's such a comfort to take the bus and leave the driving to us. When do I have to go to this meeting? So I want to. Oh, I gotta walk my dogs. And like 5 people are messaging me and stuff. Why? Yeah, I gotta do this. All right. Well, that's a shame because I really want to get into this next chapter, but we'll be there. And thank you for all your help, CJ. Tell everybody, you'll be famous in the book. And everybody who contributed, I'm going to send them a signed copy of the book. So if we get printed copies and so forth. So good work. Thank you so much. And good luck with the Albania and finding a sperm donor who is not me. I mean, should be easier. Yeah, I'll send it to Albania. It's not far. All right, let me get out of here.